Waiting for you to arrive again.
Hey guys, Ben Wheeler, the Mercenary King here with a Viktor deck profile all here for you. Sorry about the noise in the background. I've still got a window air conditioner and will for the rest of the summer. It was 102 today, so I expect forgiveness. Though you may not give it if you choose not to. So, the cards I have for you is a pretty simple Viktor deck, and I'm just going to go over it with you just to show how it'll work. I'm focusing on the Bustard card, and so the deck sort of works towards that, as well as the general restanding superiority that Viktor gives. So first off, I run one Rumble. I put him in a side rearguard position every time, pretty much, just because a 5k booster is fantastic. And even though I could put him behind my restander, I prefer guys like him to give out boosts of power to certain cards. Anyway, so that's what I do with him. I run 4 red lightning into soul on flip of damage. Probably one of the rarest crit triggers running around today, but that's alright. Then we have 4 break pass, extreme battler, Viktor crits. 1 shining lady because I can. I actually like her art better than the promo. Then we have 3 energy girl. She is, at the end of this battle, this unit boosted. Choose another rearguard, stand it, and return this unit to your deck, shuffle deck. I run hers because sometimes I do want to restand things without using a counterblast, and she allows me to do that. Also because I generally go pow, 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 or something like that, like pow, pow, pow. You know, like side, rearguard, Vanguard. You know, she is very useful just to randomly get. Then 4 heal. Ring Girl is best girl. 4 Arashid, because I do need to guarantee Victors, and I do need to stride sometimes a little bit more than the 8 grade 3s I run. 3 Claydol Mechanics. I run 3, but honestly I'm considering 4, replacing one of the Mayakis. And I do run promo art because I like it. Reminds me of sort of like a Miyazaki creation. Anyway. Basically what he is when he's placed an R on flip of damage. You don't lead massive unflipping in this deck, but I do have about 7 cards that do unflip damage due to certain circumstances, and 3 of these there. Again, I might change out one of him for one of him, but, you know, there's a big question about that because I do like what he does. Then continuous. If you have a Vanguard with Viktor, all of your other units in the same column as this unit get burst. When this unit is stood to the effect of one of your cards at the end of turn, until end of turn, this unit gets auto. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, choose up to 2 of your units and they get plus 4k. So basically, let's say that I run Bustard and I restand a column or 2 units or whatever, and then I restand him. I give those 2 units plus 4k that I restood with Bustard's and Viktor's effects. And you know what? That's pretty good. Same thing with this guy, Victoplasma. You know, when he restands, I can use this guy's ability. If I have a Viktor, I run 4. So it's 2, 3, 4. I realize in my deck profiles I haven't been giving out numbers, and I find that weird. And I'm trying to get back to it. Then I run 4 perfect shields, extreme battler, headstrong battler, and this is what I call a gimmick perf. When this unit is placed on Guardian Circle, if there's a unit of the name Headstrong Battle in the drop zone, choose one of your rear guards. Until end of turn, it gets Counterblast. At the beginning of the guard step of the battle that your Vanguard was attacked, you may pay the cost. If you do, move it to tapped, and it gets plus 10k. Shield. So basically, you can Counterblast, give the ability to this, and it can jump in front of your Vanguard. It does not count as an interception. So, it can, guard you. You can also do Rumble if you want to, though I wouldn't recommend it at all because he's a bit too valuable. Again, for these, I don't really use the ability all that much, but it's great in an emergency. Then we run 4 Starlight Hedgehog. When this unit is placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, choose one of your other Rearguards until end of turn. When this unit is stood due to the effect of one of your cards, draw a card, choose a card from your damage zone, turn it face up. This ability cannot be used again. Funnily enough, this can be used early game and in grade 2 rush decks, as well as it can be used in this Viktor deck. Now, in this Viktor deck, I usually wait until late game when I'm ready to gunfire in the night, when I'm ready to sort of start using his abilities and really start breaking it apart. Also, the benefit of her is that when you restand something with Busted or Viktor, the restand essentially becomes free and actually gives you a card. It's a pity you can only do it once, but I guess that prevents her from being OP. So not only does this guy get power, he'll unflip a damage, and he'll let you draw a card. So usually I use her as an expendable card, and I just like her art. That's a little thing with it too. I just think she's a little cute. Yeah, and so she's very useful. She's from GBT01 set 1, GBT01. So she's modern, but at the same time her ability is pretty timeless. It's just that there's so many other things in there she's not really used. But I find that Rush does not have enough cards to justify being played nowadays. And you might say, well, this gives Rush. Yeah, but it gives Rush based on Viktor, not on Rush. And so I really found all the Rush cards to be underwhelming and decided to run her instead. And I've actually been really happy with it so far. She does do work. And then for Sazanda, when this unit stood, he gets plus 5k. This is a staple card for Nova Grapplers right now, unless you're playing Risers or Beast Deities. Any build, Mr. Invincible, whatever, should really use this card. Then we have Extreme Battler, Our Braille. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1 when this unit is placed on Rearguard Circle. If you have a Vanguard with Viktor, you may pay the cost. If you do, until end of turn, this unit gets plus 2k. And when this unit attack, and then this unit gets plus 2k. And the ability auto, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, choose one of your other Rearguards. Ta-da! Sand it. This unit gets plus 5k until end of turn, and that unit gets plus 5k until end of turn. So this will get like just plus 2k. It's an 11k attacker. It's nice. It's a thing. It does it. And the Counterblast Soul Blast is a little bit beefy, but with cards like these, I forgot about him for a second there. Why did I do that to my triggers? Anyway, and these, it's not that bad of a cost. And with the fact that these guys go into Soul, these don't, but they're OP. It's just no real downside to using him. In fact, you can basically replenish the cost with a card from hand by just sending one of him into the Soul. This is a bit of a counterblast heavy deck because you'll use about 2 or 3 counterblasts every turn, not counting the perfect shields. So you do have to be careful on managing this. And besides that, this is always good to do. You really want to start playing this guy as soon as you can. He is G-Break 1 though. Again, I run 4-4-4 for my grade 2s. Then for my grade 3s, here's where it gets a little weird. I'm running 2-2 and then 4 Viktor. So 2 Envoy of Righteousness, Christa Devil. Counterblast 1, when this unit attacks the Vanguard, you may pay the cost, and this is the Vanguard skill. Choose one of your rearguards with Rush ability, stand it, until end of turn it gets, once per turn, at the end of this battle, this unit attack the Vanguard, you may stand this unit. Now you might be like, Ben, oh, nope, I don't really use him for that ability. What I do use him for is Counterblast Soul Blast. When this unit is placed on Vanguard, you may pay the cost, because I stride over him, you see. And if I'm not at G-Break, it doesn't matter. And when this unit is placed, I'm going to pay the cost, choose a rearguard. It gets, at the end of this turn, this unit attack the Vanguard, stand it, plus 2k. So basically, you go swing, swing. And then, of course, cards like her go off, so you get card advantage and unflip damage. That's how he works. That's why I have him in here. However, he's not that good to run a lot of, and even though he does have rush support, it still doesn't do anything. Really, if you ran a Danshirk deck with him, which I could do, actually, you could really do something with it. But honestly, nah. Nope. Doesn't really do anything here. Muscle Shriek, 2 of them. G-Break 1, Counterblast 2, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, you may choose up to 2 of your units, stand them, they get plus 2k. I do run him just in case. Like, I wouldn't run 4 Christa Devils, but I would run 4 of him just because of that ability. If I've G-Broke 1, like through guarding or something like that, G-Guarding, I can actually make guys like him hit for 16k for another 2 attacks. That sort of thing. Maliaki and this guy won't go off, but there's nothing I can do about it. His other ability is Counterblast Soul Blast. When he's placed on Vanguard, pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your grade 1 or less rear guards. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards with power less than or equal to that unit's power and retire it. It's a nice little retire. I don't know really why they started giving Nova Grapplers this mechanic, but whatever. It doesn't do too much, but it does let me pop something that's annoying, like say a starter that they haven't been able to use yet. Pretty good stuff. Then we have the ace of the deck for Viktor. When this G-Break 2, when this unit attacks the Vanguard, this unit gets plus 5k, and then at the end of battle, choose one of your rear guards, stand it, it gets plus 5k. Basically, he helps make a nice column out of Sazanda, and a nice column with, say, this guy behind the Sazanda. You know, that sort of thing. During your turn, when your G unit strides, choose one of your Vanguards that gets Counterblast 1. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your rear guards, stand it, it gets plus 5k. This ability cannot be used again. And basically, this is like one of the cruxes that Bustard is going to work off of. Between the two of them, you can build a full field, and you can get 2 restands off to activate the Counterblast for Bustard's ability. And that, of course, is the focus of the deck, so I'm going to go over it real quick. I run 4 Dismal. Actually, I'm going to do Bustard last. And I'll do Viktor second to last. And I'll do these guys like this. Boop. In order of complexity. But G-Guards first. Run 4 Dismal. Why? Basically, it's got Resist, which isn't really important for this. But when this unit is placed in Guardian Circle, choose a rear guard. Ugh. Cough, cough, cough. Sazanda. You definitely want it to be Sazanda. And this rear guard cannot be hit and cannot be chosen by the ability of your opponent's cards. So basically, it gains resist and it cannot be attacked. This is super important. I don't usually run Dismal, but also the Nova Grappler's G Guardian is not really good enough to play by itself because it just gets plus 5k depending on the situation of the counterblast's damage. And that just isn't as good to run, especially with such a rearguard focused. It really needs a card like this to be there. So yeah, that's why I went for G-Guards. 1 Vic-10 on hit, choose a Vanguard, stand it, plus 5k. Basically, you can use this to get free Sazandas, though you can use a Counterblast. I run 1 here in case I don't have any Counterblasts early on, and also in case they survive all the other things I throw at them. You know, just a little bit more. Tri-Brute. This guy I have in here for the retiring aspect. Counterblast 1 when the rearguard is stood to the effect of one of your cards. Give it plus 2k, and then choose one of your opponent's rearguard with power less than or equal to, and retire it. Basically, you know, you pop something. For a Counterblast. A lot of people, I think, overuse him, but I have one of him just in case. And by the way, with Viktor, that means it's a Counterblast 2 for 1 pop, 1 restand, which isn't always the best choice to make, especially with the focus of this deck. So then we have Victoplasma. Counterblast 2, choose a face-down card of the same name, turn it face up. If the number of face-up cards in your G-Zone is 2 or more, this unit gets -1 drive check, and choose 2 cards from your hand to discard them. When this unit attacks the Vanguard, pay the cost. If you do, stand this unit, this ability cannot be used again. I run him as a game finisher when the Bustards and the Victors don't work. Victors I really run in case I don't actually ride Viktor. But these guys, you know, they're supposed to end games for you. This guy's supposed to end the game for you. He's a Counterblast too, and he's pretty expensive, and you lose a drive check. Actually, technically use 2 drive checks, but whatever. You know, so he's a bit dangerous to use on your own side, and really he's better in a deck that uses draws, but he's pretty deadly, and he's basically a necessity to run. Then I run 4 Victors, and what this guy does is choose a face-down card of the same name, turn it face up. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, choose a unit, stand it, gets plus 5k. So it's basically this, but the G-Break 3, which is why I never run it first. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, you may choose one of your units, stand it, plus 5k. So basically he's a free Viktor. So with Viktor, you can Counterblast 1, flip over a copy of this, and when you attack, you can restand 2 things guaranteed, a 3rd one on hit. Which is always nice. And of course you're giving him power all the time. Then we have Bustard. He's the hero stride of the deck. Counterblast 1, choose a face down card from your G zone, turn it face up. When this unit attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, you may stand the same number of rear guards as face up cards named Busted in your G zone. If 2 or more units were stood, by the way, it doesn't have to be by your effect. Wait, it doesn't have to be with your effect? Hold on. Let me double check the ruling. Sometimes I get paranoid about these things. Because it doesn't say stood by this effect. And that bothers me. Bothers me a lot. Whoop. Hold on. Whoop. Sorry, Chance. I'll have to talk to you later. ATO. Kaiser. Bustard. Let's see if anyone said anything about a ruling on this. Just in case. It must be by Bustard's effect. Okay. Equal to the number of Bustards. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, the wording is a little bit unclear, so it gets me sometimes. But basically, you have to stand 2 with this effect. So basically, you stride, and then you stride. What I'd actually recommend doing is, because you do kind of want to conserve Counterblast, if you're not running a deck that has a lot of them flip like mine does, you want to just stride 1 by itself, and then maybe use Viktor's ability if you feel like it. And then the next time you do this, flip over. Technically, actually, you can flip over something else, but I wouldn't recommend doing that because that would be a waste of a flip, because you can only stand as many units as you have it. Likely they were trying to save space here by leaving out the stood by this effect, but that's okay. So basically this, boop, and then on the second turn, here's what the special ability does. Counterblast. Choose 2 cards from hand and discard them. At the end of the battle, you may pay the cost if you do stand this unit, and it gets drive check -2 until end of battle. End of turn, excuse me. So basically, you have to have 5 rear guards too, which is pretty easy to do if you've been saving your rear guards, using Dismal to save your rear guards, and so on and so forth. So basically, it's like boom, boom, flip over for cost. You also, funnily enough, get the 2 that way, and then you Counterblast again, stand it and attack again, and then you can use Viktor's ability to restand something else for a Counterblast, which is always very, very fun. Simply put, all the standing shenanigans you can do in this deck is great, which is why I'm actually enjoying it quite a bit. Again, I sometimes get confused with the wordings here, but yeah, it's 2 or more by this effect, and you have 5 rear guards, you may restand it. Hope you guys enjoy this deck and make your own build of it, but it is a pretty fun ride, and I hope to do some good with it. See you guys. This has been Wheeler Mercenary King. Like, comment, and subscribe. Imagine your goddess. Bye.